What's up guys? Something a little different today. This is going to be a car dashboard DVR, and this was sent to me by WeTech, who is a seller on Amazon. They contacted me, asked me if I was interested in reviewing this and unboxing it, so I figured why not. So let's get into this. This is the DBPower C307 HD car camcorder. Let's get inside and check out the DVR. So we're immediately greeted by the DVR camcorder. Small, very nice, feels like a nice build quality. Looks like a mini HDMI out here and a reset button, USB. Over here we're gonna have our menu button. Looks like some arrow keys to cycle through some menus. This looks like it'll take a still picture, an OK button, and a play button, and a slot for a micro SD card. Looks like it's got a nice lens on here, very wide angle. Let's go inside and see what else we got. So inside here you're gonna have a USB plug that plugs into your cigarette lighter, your car, a USB cable, and another USB cable. This one's longer. And you got your suction cup mount. And last but not least, you have your instruction manual. So just a quick little video to show you what's in the box. Now I'm gonna go outside and test it, see what we think of it. Okay, so I've been out in the field testing the C307 from DBPower, and I gotta say I'm pretty impressed with this one. This will shoot up to 2K video, and it shoots everything from 2K to 1080p to 720p. The image quality of this is excellent. I would definitely say it's on par with your action cameras, your various action cameras that are out on the market. Probably not on par with a GoPro, but I would say it's certainly on par with some of the knockoffs. I was pleasantly surprised at how good the image quality was out of this little dash cam. 2K video for 75 bucks, I mean, you really can't beat that. Excellent video quality, 2K, you're gonna be able to zoom in, pick out license plates, faces, things like that. Anything you'd want a dash cam to zero in on, you're gonna be able to do with this one. As I said, I was pleasantly surprised at how good the picture quality is, especially during the daytime, and even at night, the quality of the video is very good. You get a little flaring from street lights and headlights and things like that. It might make picking out license plates and stuff like that a little difficult at night. But if you were to get in some sort of accident or something like that, you're definitely gonna be able to see exactly what happened, whether there's street lights, whether there's not street lights. The headlights of the car are more than enough to light up the area so you get a decent picture out of this camera. Really impressed with the performance of this camera. Some of the nice features of this, it has an HDMI out so you can hook it up to your TV and play files right off the DVR if you want to. And you can also take pictures on the fly as you're driving along. So say if for some reason you wanted to record and take a photo at the same time, you just hit the photo button and it won't interrupt your recording, and it'll save a Jpeg file of whatever it is you want to take a picture of. This has a G sensor in it, so if it detects any sort of impact, it's going to save a file to an event folder on your SD card. There's going to be two folders when you pop this in your computer on the SD card. One is called event and the other one is normal. Normal is just what it sounds like. You're driving around, it's going to capture all the footage from the camera into this folder. Now if it detects something on the G sensor, an impact or something like that, it's going to save it to the event file. And it's basically going to take 10 seconds before whatever it is occurred and save a little clip of whatever it is that happened. This is obviously useful if you get in some sort of fender bender or a major accident. It's going to detect that and it's going to save it in the file, so it's not going to write over it. Because otherwise this is going to just record until the SD card is full and then cycle back through and record over itself. But if a file is marked to the event folder, it's going to keep it until you actually erase the file, which is definitely a nice feature. In addition to the G sensor detecting these files, you can also push this play button that also has like a warning symbol on it, and that's going to send files directly to your event file. So if something happens, not necessarily an impact, maybe you have a near miss, or an animal runs out in front of you, or just something you want to save to your SD card, you just hit this button right here and it's going to save the file to your event folder. It's got some decent speakers on the front here, and they capture good audio off of this little camera. Another nice little plus of this one, it's going to capture audio obviously within the car and possibly a little bit outside the car, but obviously it's a little muffled outside the car unless you have your windows open or something like that. So if you go around the side here, you're going to see your SD card slot, and this will use a micro SD card, and it will fit up to a 64 gigabyte micro SD card. So you'll have plenty of storage on a 64 gigabyte card. It attaches via a suction cup mount to your windshield, and you get a very strong grip on the windshield. Didn't have any problems with it sliding around or falling off or anything like that. You get very stable video. Definitely a high quality mount here. So why don't we just go into our menu settings and run through them real quick. So you hit this menu button over here, and then it's going to bring up video resolution, record cycle, motion detection, and park mode. So if we just go into our video resolution here, you can cycle through a bunch of different options. 1920 by 1080 30p. You got 1280 by 720 60p and 1280 by 720 30p. And then you go all the way back around to 2560 by 1080 30p. And that's gonna be the highest resolution you're gonna get. 2K video, very impressive out of a little $75 camera like this. And then 2304 by 1296 30p. So a little bit less than 2K. And back down to 1920 by 1080 45p, and then you go to HDR 1920 by 1080. So if we back out of that menu, you go into your record cycle. So you can set the record cycle to whatever you want. You can have it off, or 1 minute cycles, 3 minute cycles, or 5 minute cycles. So every 1 minute it's gonna make a new clip, every 3 minutes it's gonna make a new clip, every 5 minutes it's gonna make a new clip, or if you have it off, it's just gonna go to 4 gig and make another clip. And then if you go to motion detection, you can either have that on or off. So park mode is going to trigger the G sensor in the unit. When the park mode is off, the G sensor and CPU will not work. And when it is on, the unit will be switched to park mode after shutting off. So I think what that does is it just enables the G sensor while you're parked. And go through it one more, and you're going to go into image quality. Image quality, you can select 3 different options: superfine, fine, and normal. I recommend going with the superfine because it's going to capture a little bit more detail, and if you're doing something like trying to pull a license plate off your video, it might help out a little bit in that. Mic setup, basically your mic is either on or off. Your stamp settings, and here you can go in and have what you're going to display in the bottom right corner, so you can have date and time and even driver ID, or you can shut it off if you just want to capture video. And then the G sensor settings, there is a low setting, a medium setting, and a high setting, and also off. So what this is going to do is store your file to the event folder when it detects some sort of impact or any sort of shake, major shake to the camera. Then you got your white balance. I would recommend just leaving that on auto. Exposure value bias, if you find that the camera tends to overexpose or underexpose, you might want to change this. I didn't really have any issues with it. You have different languages, and your time setup, that's pretty straightforward. Volume setup is going to be the volume of the beeps as you're cycling through this menu, I believe. And beep sound settings, you could probably just shut that on and off. I just got mine on, doesn't bother me. Auto power off setting. This will give you different times, 1 minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, or off. Backlight off setting, so you can turn this on or off. Driving time warning, you can set 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours if you're going to be driving any length of time. LLWS, when you turn this on in the dark environment, the device will automatically remind the driver to turn on the car light. And then LDWS, FCWS. This function is basically going to warn you when a car is changing lanes. Not sure if that's your car or someone else's car. And then you obviously can calibrate that with the calibration feature. driver ID setting. That's basically, you're gonna fill out the driver's ID names in there. Format's gonna format your SD card, and then this is gonna restore all the default settings. So pretty fully featured menu system. It's all fairly straightforward, and you don't really have to reference the manual except for maybe a few of these features on what they are. And that's probably a good thing because the manual is so-so at best, but it's pretty easy to figure out what everything does on your own. It's all pretty straightforward in the menu system. So I think that about sums it up with DBPower's C307 car camcorder, or dash cam if you like. I recommend this one. I've had experience with a few other dash cams, and this one has the best image quality I've seen on a dash cam yet. Very reliable, did not have any issues with this. It's pretty straightforward. I mean, really you could just attach this to your windshield, plug it in, and it's gonna kind of do its own thing. And you can go into the menu and tweak your settings if you want, but it's basically gonna work on its own once you plug this thing in and stick an SD card in it. So this was sent to me by an Amazon seller, WeTech. I'll have a link to their Amazon store in the description. Go check it out, it's only 75 bucks. I think it's really a good value for a dash cam that's gonna shoot 2K video. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. If I missed anything, hit me up in the questions below. I thank you guys for watching. Subscribe to the channel for more tech reviews, and I'll see you guys in the next video.